Alright, so it's about 4 o'clock. Me and Ted just got out here about an hour and a half ago. We checked one camera, had no deer on it at all, but that's ways away from where my cell cam is, and we'll be getting a lot of good pictures of just a lot of deer and a couple nice bucks. We're sitting in a couple different spots tonight that are not where that camera is because the wind is terrible for it. It's a north-northwest wind, and it would just be blowing straight into the bedding area over there. So we don't want to risk blowing anything out of there and ruining the rest of the next few days. So we're going to sit in these other couple spots tonight. If we get lucky, great. Otherwise, we're pretty much game planning for tomorrow and the rest of the week. So it's December 27th. Got 4 days left of the season. We'll see if we can get lucky. Alright, it's the afternoon of December 28th. Me and Teddy are back in the same stand we were at this morning. Really hasn't been much movement at all over here. Didn't have any pictures on my camera either. But it's the first day in the last like 2 weeks there really hasn't been movement, so it's kind of weird. But we're hoping that we'll see some movement tonight. Usually there's some evening activity over here. If we don't have any movement at all, then we'll probably try and find a new spot tomorrow. But we'll see if we get a shot at something. So stay tuned. Left of legal shooting light. We got a big group of does out in this field over here. I've seen them out there before in the evening. There's about 10 of them out there. Last time I saw them out there in the evening, they ended up coming this way overnight and bedding up to the west of us, and then they ended up coming back through the next morning. So we'll slip out of here when it gets closer to dark, and we should be able to get out without them noticing because we're going back out the other way. Hopefully they'll be here in the morning. So we'll see what happens over the next 30 minutes, and then otherwise we'll see you tomorrow. Alright, so we are going to hunt from the ground tonight. Kind of in the same area that we have been, but the wind's not good for the stand that we have. So we're actually going to try and sneak in right down this creek line that's on kind of the south side of everything because the wind's coming out of the north-northwest. So we're gonna just creep in slowly, see if we can find any fresh sign, and maybe find a place to set up on the ground, and we'll see how it goes. Sat down in a spot. We're about probably 150 yards from this cornfield, which is the property line edge, and we keep seeing the deer coming out of there, and then they end up working across onto the bean field, which is the property that we're on. And we had all the snow last night, and so there's already some deer out in the field that just came out, which is pretty early for them. So we're going to see which direction they go. If they go the direction they normally do and come across into the bean field and keep working west, we should be able to get down around and behind and work and get back around and try and get ahead of them because the wind should be working okay for us. So we'll see what happens. We still got about 2.5 hours or so. So we'll see if any bucks come out. There's about 4 or 5 does out there right now. And we'll see if we can get anything to come our way. well, we gave it a try. Saw a few tracks in there, not a whole lot. We saw some deer out in the field just past us, but they weren't really moving much at all at night. They were just kind of staying right on the edge of the cut cornfield and just grazing a little bit and then just going back in. So not a whole lot. We'll see tomorrow morning if we get some action. I'll probably go back to the tree stand in the morning and we'll see what Ted plans on doing, whether he goes with or goes somewhere else. I don't know. But so we'll give it a shot. See you in the morning. It's about 10:15 almost, and we had those 3 does this morning. We just couldn't get them close enough. Somehow the one seemed to be getting our wind, even though the wind essentially was blowing this way. But she kept coming out into the cut field. They were coming down the field line, and we just couldn't get them in. And then one of them ended up going around through the trees, and she was at about probably 50 to 60 yards, but it's pretty thick, so we don't really have a shot that far. So, but at least we saw something moving, which is nice. And maybe we'll come out this evening and see if there's something else moving again. So we'll see you this evening. December 31st, New Year's Eve day. It's the last day of the season. I've not seen any movement yet, but deer season. It's just after 12 o'clock. I haven't seen anything at all, no movement at all, so yeah, it's been a fun season. Never got to draw the bow on anything, but that was mostly by choice for most of the season. Just never really had a chance at a mature buck, and haven't been able to get close to anything during late season, so sometimes it's just the way it goes though. But now I start prepping for next year. Until next time.